I mean, how long would it take you to draw a bath right now?
2 minutes.
You know, we're already getting off to a late start.
Next time.
Okay, all right. The basic premise of the movie is that there is this alien robot that lands on Earth, and this young woman can control it while she sleeps, and she wants to use it. She basically wants to use it for good, but things get complicated.
Wait, she can only be asleep when she's controlling it?
Whenever she sleeps, she comes into control of it.
And it's like a dream for her?
Yes, yeah. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's a fun idea.
Sure. It's been used a million times, but why
Wait,
not?
when has that been used ever?
Dream control?
Yes. First of all, that's the name of the movie.
Yes.
But when has that ever been used? That idea that you come into control of anything, or like a robot, or like a creature when you're asleep, and like, when has it ever been used?
I don't know. I'd have to go into the dictionary.
Okay, so how to get this plot moving? I'm thinking that aliens just drop this thing on Earth, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like the the thing from 2001.
What thing from 2000? Oh, like
The
the
monolith.
obelisk.
Yeah, the monolith.
So
Obelisk is skinny.
are we giving any reason for why they're doing
Yeah,
this?
they go around dropping these. They're like, it's like a lottery, kind of. They drop it, and if you can advance to the next stage, then they'll contact you, and you can come with them.
Okay, so that's the idea.
But usually people just, or a species just obliterates themselves with it.
So there's this tool, this like humanoid robotic homunculus that they drop on the planets, and one person gets assigned to be able to use it in their sleep. And if that person can use that power to better the world, then the civilization can advance to
And
like
that's
join
the
their
fun
ranks.
thing about it, is that it's a lottery. Maybe we should call the movie The Lottery, because they just pick a random person. They don't care your credentials, where you are. You could be on your deathbed as an old man, and that's the person they pick. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, because there's a trillion billion planets where they could do this.
I think that's a fun idea. I actually think that's a really good idea, and maybe a good idea for the sequel. But because in the plot outline we have, it's kind of...
Well, I was going somewhere with that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, please.
I was going to say the character they pick is like a Dana.
A Dana. Okay, so tell me, can you explain what a Dana is?
Airy.
Airy.
Yeah, she's very airy, and how do you
What the
say?
hell does that mean? Like full of
Things
air?
go in and out. Yeah, she's floaty.
She's
I'm trying to be
floaty.
nice here. Yeah,
Be
she's
less
floaty.
nice so I can understand.
She's very blasé about everything.
Okay, so like
And she doesn't have an education, but she's really nice.
Okay, so like a sweet person
She's
who
basically
doesn't take...
me, but a female.
Okay, so is the male counterpart to a Dana a Jerry?
Yes.
So
Pretty much.
it's kind of like a well-meaning what's the word I'm looking for? Not scramble head.
Yes.
Scatterbrains.
Scatterbrain.
Okay, so like a well-meaning scatterbrains. That's who gets this power. Okay, but how are we, like, what is the opening scene that we're introducing these aliens and we're introducing this system?
That's cool, because the opening scene is like straight up will hit every note and trope from a sci-fi film. For the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you never see this again. Like, it's just straight up like dark comedy, maybe not horror film.
Okay, so what is that? Can you like
we're in space.
Mm-hmm.
We see the spaceship approaching.
It's full of aliens.
Well, then we were inside, and it's seems like the more advanced and the more like militaristic and the more organized anything is in a movie, the darker the room is.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. So like it's really dark in the spaceship, which is
Yeah.
terrible. And well, actually, maybe they don't need lights.
Yeah,
Anyway, so it's
their
really
eyes don't
dark.
necessarily work the same as
Yeah,
ours.
and we kind of just see like tentacle maybe things and like buttons being pushed and screens with like touch sensitive stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And then we see like a hologram of the Earth, and like it's like blinking, doot, doot, doot,
Okay.
doot, and they're like,
But are we
and then
getting subtitles to know what they're saying?
no, we don't need to know this. We get the
What
idea.
do they look like?
Well, it's really dark. That's the point.
It's really dark.
Yeah,
Oh
so
wait,
maybe they're
wait, what the hell? No, it can't be. Basically, you're just describing noises, and
yeah, this is
so
a
okay, no,
podcast.
it's dark enough that they're basically silhouettes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Silhouettes are great. They're very ominous.
But are they more or less humanoid, or we have to have some kind of funky shapes coming on them? Maybe
Yeah.
we'll just like staple some tubes onto our actors and
Or
light it.
why are we
Yeah.
even going there? We just see a spaceship coming, and
No, I
then
liked it. Why are you going
okay,
there? Because we're making a movie. We want it to be beautiful.
yes, beauty.
Yeah.
So then, okay, we'll discuss their shape later. But now they're just like, and then all of a sudden they push one of them. You know, we see the Earth now again in the hologram, and then one pushes a button, and then the Earth starts blinking like, boop, 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 boop. And then we cut back outside the spaceship, and we see one of the pod bay doors open, and out comes this pod, and
Yeah.
it flies towards Earth, and they
Okay.
just keep going. You know, they just like
But how are we explaining the system you described where there's a ladder? Like, shouldn't that
be-
be done through, like, we need some kind of
I think.
exposition
Well,
here.
oh, okay. So, oh, perfect. All right. So then they see the Earth blinking, and then one of them turns to like this other larger hologram, which is like human-sized hologram being projected, and it's going through every single person on. You just see like it's going so fast. It's like different people just like in this like it's like going through, and you
Yeah.
see the characters above it, which could be maybe their numbers or something, and it's just going through, and it starts getting slower and slower and slower, and then it goes ding, and it stops on Dana.
Okay. All right. But that's just showing that she's being picked. It's not introducing this idea that, this whole
How
idea of
so then?
that it's
So then, how do
supposed
you
to
think?
advance the species. Like, should we just not mention any of that? Should it just,
Yeah, no,
should
it's just
the
like it's the
alien,
kind of movie. It's
should
the
the
kind of movie you got
alien,
to watch like 4 times.
okay, maybe the alien's motivation should just be ambiguous then.
Yeah,
Okay, so we don't know why the aliens are doing this, but they drop it. It lands on Earth probably around like 11 p.m. and it lands in, like, let's say, North Dakota. Okay,
that's where she lives. Yeah.
no,
Oh.
because there doesn't need to be that geographical
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
let's say
that's right.
it lands in Siberia. Like, why? I like
Yeah,
the idea of North Dakota. I don't know. It's like
it's
more.
huge and open landscape.
Yeah.
It's a very easy place to hit.
So it lands in North Dakota at the same time in New Jersey. Dana is going to bed, and
Yeah,
we're seeing her room, and there's a bong. There's like a bunch of
it's a
like
mess.
it's a mess, but there's also lots of like posters up about like
Yeah,
different causes. Like, and we'll try not to get too like specific, but it's all like,
she's got like 7 cats.
but no, okay, she's
Yes,
got some cats, she's got some incense, she's also like interested in like different issues and causes, and we can see
yeah,
that by a
she's
certain
like hippie blase girl.
yes, yeah, but she does have like a bleeding heart.
Yes,
How much she actually does with that, probably not too much because she's like a pothead and like she's not particularly organized.
she
Um,
takes medication for her bleeding heart as well. So she's like, oh, I gotta take my pill.
and she just puts a band-aid on her before bed. Um, that was stupid. I don't know why I said that. And but she goes to bed and we see her, she like puts music on to kind of fall asleep. She takes a hit from her bowl and she starts kind of like
Drifting off.
drifting off. And then we
Oh,
see
I think? Oh, okay.
Her
Let's add a little like intrigue or a mystery. As she's going to sleep, she puts on an old movie on the movie channel, and
okay.
it's an old black and white sci-fi film.
Maybe it's the day the Earth
Yeah,
stood
yeah, yeah,
still. Yeah.
exactly. Well, we probably, yeah, I guess we get the rights for that. And
Or
then
we
you
can
see,
make a pastiche of it and show
yeah, yeah,
that.
because
Yeah.
you see like the 1950 robot, and like people in like really cool fedoras, like pointing and running, and everyone's always in a suit, and uh, and she's like, her eyes are getting heavy, and she's falling asleep to this, and like as she's like going to sleep, she blows out her last hit, and then what?
And then
Oh, then we cut to North Dakota,
okay, yeah. And then I
and then
think
oh, okay, yes, I'm sorry, I'm so
no,
sorry.
please, please. You seemed excited.
Well, like we're in North Dakota, and it's almost like kind of this the feeling is like same as like her going to sleep because now we're like this open landscape and it's really quiet and it's like you hear like the crickets and the beautiful stars and it's just like we're like scanning the landscape and then all of a sudden you hear and there's this giant explosion for the pod crashing in
Oh,
this open field of a farmer.
I thought we showed that first. And then we cut to her going to bed, and because that's we have to introduce that mundane world. And I would think that now we're cutting back to North Dakota, but we're maybe cutting to the inside of the pod. And inside the pod, even though the pod is black on the outside and it's all dark, inside of the pod it's bright, hot red. It's fucking
Yes,
1,000,000 degrees in there, and
it's like yeah,
there's a pair of red like stony eyes. Like this is a robot, but this is a robot from another planet, so it's not metallic. It looks more organic than that.
mm-hmm.
And we just see as her eyes, like just like a couple seconds after her eyes closed in her bedroom, now we're there and there's these eyes and they open. And that way we are able to visually explain like this is her waking up there. And
Yes.
she like she just starts freaking out and she's like smashing against the walls of the pod. She's bright red. It's so hot. We she busts through the pod. It's like hatching from an egg violently, and it's
Wait,
this
Dana does
no, but
the
as
robot?
this robot, which now
Yeah, yeah.
has her consciousness in it.
Hmm.
Um.
Oh, okay. So his right eyes now turn to her eyes, and her eyes turn to his red eyes.
Okay. So, well, that kind of cuts out the whole eye opening scene because we don't know what his eyes looked like. But
Okay.
we do need. You are right that we do need a little bit more like visual storytelling to convey that this is Dana in the robot.
Hmm.
Um, but we'll do that, and I don't think the robot's a he. I think it's more just like an androgynous like shape, like
Yeah.
nondescript.
Well, these movies usually give you the whole story rundown with like a scientist that's like, and this is happening because of this.
Yeah, but let's not do that. Let's make a good movie. Um,
Okay. No exposition.
yeah, well, minimal. So then we see we're just gonna say Dana, the robot, is now bust out of the pod in the middle of the snowy field. The snow's melting around her, and uh,
Well, the farmer now comes out with a shotgun. Classic.
oh, okay, take it from there.
So
I mean,
he's comes.
I want to be able to explain that this is Dana's a little bit more.
Okay,
How do?
I'm gonna show you how.
Okay, yeah.
So the farmer comes out and he's like, "What in the Sam fuck?" And his wife's there too, and like they like run out to this field, and all the cows have scattered. One cow, like some of the cows are dead from the explosion. And he's like, "Oh God!" And then he comes upon the robot, and then the robot he shoots at it, and obviously nothing happens. And the
Hmm.
robot just walks to him and grabs the gun and just like, and now we cut back to Dana and we see her sleeping and she's twitching and she's moving her arms.
Dana would. Do you think she would have like the nerve to do that? She just woke up in such a strange situation. Like
Yeah.
maybe the farmer comes out and starts shooting at her. She freaks out and jumps, and then finds that she can fly. And
Okay.
she also kind of looks at her body and notices that she hasn't been damaged by the shots. And then she she can fly. She's like panicked, and then she just flies up and up and up until she's able to kind of see like the lay of the land, and she just starts flying like she is just figure we gotta get her a way to figure out how to fly to New Jersey from North Dakota. I don't
Should
know
we
that
have
she.
internal thought of when she's the robot, just being like, "What
Oh,
am I?"
yeah, and then like a map like shows up in her mind's eye, and we can like kind of
Yeah.
demonstrate that like with like a hologram effect.
Mm-hmm.
And she flies up, and then she flies to New Jersey. She flies home, and she flies to her bedroom window and sees herself sleeping. And while maybe while she's
Am I
sleeping,
astro projecting?
um,
She'd be into that.
maybe while oh, maybe then we hear her go in Dana's voice, but coming from the robot. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
So now we know. Now we know that it's Dana. She opens up the window. She goes into her room. Now the robot body and the human body are both in the room. We have to have uh some amount of like time processing this. Like I don't want to spend a bunch of time on that. I want to kind of get moving. But basically, like she freaks out. There's some amount of like research, but like nothing really comes of it. There's a couple of awkward conversations with people like, "Hey, have you ever had something like this happen?" And they're like, "No, what the fuck are you talking about?" And then she's like, "Okay, fuck it. This is happening to me. I have no explanation for it." Maybe she has a best friend she tells about it just so
Well, she should think it's the drugs. That's what I would
that's
think.
going to take us that we have 40 minutes to tell this story. Let's not
Yeah.
like
She throws the weed out, and that's it.
okay, fine. I like that. And then she has a pothead friend, um, Nancy,
Yeah.
who like is like a little like you don't smoke anymore. Like what
She's
the
like,
fuck?
I
But
grew that myself, you know.
but Nancy is her confidant, so that is who
Yeah.
she's like kind of processing this all out loud with. And then we have like a montage where Dana starts experimenting at night, like with this robot, like flying, like just trying out all of its capabilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, she should be very nervous about going to sleep, but also excited
Yeah, we'll demonstrate that over the course of this period, which will be done through montage and through conversations with Nancy.
because she has to run experiments. She's like, all right, I got to see if this is really happening.
Yeah.
So she gets
And th-
Nancy involved.
and then I think there would probably be a conversation with Nancy's like, okay, well now you have this under control. You don't know what the origin is, but like what are you gonna do with it? And then she like kind of looks at all the posters in her room and she's like, I'm gonna try to do some good, right?
Are we even hitting any of these beats? I feel like we're still on number two.
We're just coming up to three. So the setup's going to take the longest time, but we'll try to speed up a little bit from here. Okay, so she's starting to address these issues. So again, this is also going to be to some extent. We're going to have one or two scenes that really are kind of complicated adventure scenes where she's like, she's throwing an oil company out of the Amazon, or like she's helping some like beleaguered like freedom fighters against some kind of like powerful military. Like we do a couple of these and we show all of the people that this is causing problems for. Like we start also showing different governments of the world and different criminal empires and different corporations talking about this robot that's fucking up all their plans, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's some amount of pushback. There's some amount of military pushback, but more or less she's able, and like criminal pushback, but more or less she's able to fight it off. However, throughout all of this, she keeps having visions, like weird little goblins, um, weird like just things that don't seem kind of supernatural, don't seem quite right, like weird dream imagery, basically. Now,
Yes.
quick segue: what is the main conflict in Dana's life prior to this? Like,
She's just at a point where she feels like no one's taking her serious,
okay,
and she hates her dead end job at the grocery store,
okay,
and she's just like, I can really, because she's like always like looking at these YouTube videos of like these powerful women like changing the world, and she's like, I can be this person.
I don't know about the Dana voice, but okay,
No, I'm playing Dana in this film.
okay. Um,
and
yeah,
and she's just like, she's like really
yeah,
looks up to Janet Reno, and she's
no,
like,
Jesus Christ. I think I
all right, Geraldine Ferrara.
what? Wait, who's that?
She's a powerful woman.
Okay. I think the issue with that is no, she's already solved that conflict by having this robot. She's doing all that. There should be some unsolved conflict in
Yeah,
her
okay,
life.
exactly. So all these things that she's always, oh, well, there has to be a conversation with Nancy back when she first is talking to her about this, and she's like, "What if this is something that's been sent to me because of all the things I've always wanted to do?" And
Yeah.
she like she names stuff. She's like, "You know how I just want to be this powerful. I want to solve world hunger. I want to stop pollution. I want to
Yeah.
stop war." And she names all these things, and that's, we already know in our
No,
minds like
yeah, I know,
that's where
but
she's coming
what
from.
I'm saying is we need an unrelated conflict.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But that's not unrelated. That is exactly what's being addressed in this. We need an unrelated personal issue.
Oh.
Maybe she lives at home with her single mother and there's a lot of conflict there. Maybe something terrible happened
Yeah.
and
Okay. So that's
and the
kind of
mother
like a moral,
and the
sh-
mother's not bad, but there's been some kind of rupture that's never been fully addressed.
I love that message. Sometimes she's like trying to solve these huge world problems, but sometimes the biggest world problems are personal ones that
Perhaps,
are wars in our own hearts.
perhaps. But what happened between her and her mother that like has gone kind of unaddressed?
She stole my bong.
She stole my bong.
Uh,
Well, I mean, okay, the obvious one is the father
you need to
left.
get a job.
The father left, and no, it needs to
Oh
be
no,
like
I want her to get married and have kids.
okay, all right, and Dana's
Dana's like,
never,
that's not who I am.
but Dana's never. No, it's just an untalked about pressure between them because Dana's kind of never voiced that that's not something she's interested in.
Yeah, yeah.
Another, and I just wanted to have like one more interpersonal conflict in her life. So like maybe at work, um, there's a girl. She's just like there's just somebody that works there that Dana's just kind of cruel to for no reason. Like not terrible. We want Dana's our protagonist, but like she's kind of an ass to this person for some reason.
Because she's jealous of something.
Yeah, perhaps. Um, and that character's name is
Kara.
love that. Okay, so basically now we're gonna get to this place where as Dana is, getting into these conflicts out in the world, addressing these issues, coming into conflicts with different paramilitary groups, things like that. It's a lot of action scenes. It's a lot of fun. We're showing all the capabilities of this robot. It can like blow itself up and reassemble. It can teleport. It's basically Superman. Even though I think I just named a bunch of stuff Superman can't do. Uh, Basically, it has Superman's powers. Let's just say that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, but while that's happening, now we're starting to see these weird entities. Can you describe some of these entities for me?
Um. Well, okay. So as these things are happening, as he's like solving things, we kind of like maybe towards the end of like one of them, we start to notice like creatures. Like, oh, the robot as well, Dana as the robot just like did something. He like broke like he stopped the war somehow.
Yeah,
She
he
stopped the
he
war.
he smushed the tank.
Yeah, and
It smushed the tank.
all the rebels are now cheering. They're like,
Yeah.
yeah, and the other team is retreating. And as he's
The
like,
other team.
and as she's like,
Good match, everybody.
see you tomorrow. And as she's wallowing in the ecstasy of this power, she notices like these little like
Oh, that wait,
demon
can
like
that's
creatures.
a
What?
good another conflict is the love of power. That's built
Yes,
into this. Yeah.
because she doesn't. She's not someone who. Well, she does kind of want power, but now she's like,
But I mean
it's she
power
feels it, and she's like, it's like ecstasy to her. She wants
yeah,
more.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And as she's like surrounded by everyone cheering, I imagine her to be very tall too, kind of like
Oh, I'm thinking like 8
12 foot.
feet tall.
Yeah. Okay. 8 feet. Yeah.
10, how
So
about
she's
10? We'll
10
call in
feet.
the
Yeah.
middle.
So she's significantly larger than a person, an average
Yeah.
person, but she's not like a giant.
Yeah.
And as she's doing this, over in the corner, like by the rocks, she sees these demon like creatures like peering out like prairie dogs. And then when they notice that she sees them, they duck back down. And she's like kind of like sees it, but she's like surrounded by all this cheer, and she kind of ignores it.
Yeah.
And then we see her doing another thing where she's like, uh, she's stopping a bank heist, classic. And again, everyone's cheering. There's news reporters around, and everyone's cheering. And in the crowd, she sees the demons, and they're just like ducking
And they're
behind people.
they're
But no
varied
one sees
looking.
them.
They have various appearances.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
their eyes that really are the same.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
That's an idea we can play with. So they're no longer at some point they kind of stop. You know, we're increasingly bringing her into conflict with our government, like because that's the big dog, right? That's and like so there's this tension that is building up between. She keeps coming into conflict with our military, which is very powerful, and it's getting really dicey. These are really big action scenes. There's a lot of evasion scenes, a lot of chase scenes in the sky. She can fly, so like dog fights, but she's this giant robot. Um, but now these demons are starting to attack her while she's in these
yeah.
conflicts,
I was just gonna say, yeah, they
and
jump on her back like raptors.
yeah, yeah, and she was totally competent to win these fights previously, but she can't fight the military and these demons at the same time. Like, so she is continually having to retreat. Obviously, who's she going to talk to about this? Nancy.
Nancy.
So, there's some amount of like Nancy's getting high. Dana's just talking about this, and then somehow Nancy suggests like, I was thinking like, when you don't like, what you used to do when you slept, you dreamt, and now you don't anymore. Like, when do you have any time to dream?
Okay, don't get mad at me, but I have to piss so bad. Hold on a
Yeah,
second. Just a second.
just remember where your microphone position was.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I can think again.
Okay. All right. So I think we were saying Nancy is saying, like, well, you used to now, you spend all of your sleeping time piloting this robot and fighting these fights and addressing these causes. When do you have time to dream? And she goes, oh my God, these are my dreams.
And then she starts getting freaked out. She's like, wait a minute. What if this is a dream
No,
and the other one's not?
I think Nancy should say that. And then
Yeah.
because she's still high, but Dana's quit, she's like, no, we're not going down that route. This isn't a
Clearly, I'm
dream.
dreaming. Clearly, I'm the robot when I'm dreaming. I know
Yeah.
reality and robot world.
But good luck with that, Nancy. Um, but she's
This way,
like,
you'll never be a leader.
oh, and then Nancy just goes like, why are your dreams so fucked up? Why is it all demons and shit? Like, and she's like, oh, I guess they just kind of always have been. And she's like, you must have some issues in your personal life. And like then Dana is coming to this realization of like, oh my God, my like daytime issues. First of all, I'm not really attending to my life anymore. I'm just like, I used to think about like going to school, having a career, all this stuff. But like now I'm just kind of going through the motions, waiting for nighttime so I can live my nightlife.
And I'm
Um,
fucking
oh,
exhausted.
Nightlife. Nightlife is the name of the movie.
Yeah.
Um, and well, she's not exhausted because she's sleeping through all that time. Her body is asleep through that whole time.
One time I had a dream that I was a dishwasher at a Mexican restaurant and I woke up exhausted. I mean, it could happen.
It could happen. Oh, I think that's another thing is she used to have a fun nightlife. Like that's something we could demonstrate. Like she used to go to parties and like go on dates and hang out with people. But now because this is so important to her, she's in bed at 8 p.m. every night.
Yeah.
So
And
there's
she's like been ODing on melatonin.
okay, yeah, sure. I like that. I mean, like not ODing, but like we can show that there's a dependence in all these sleep aids.
Yeah, like there's one scene where we just like scan her room a little bit as we move up to her sitting there, biting her nails, anticipating and looking at the clock, waiting for it to be like 9 o'clock. And
Yeah.
there's just empty melatonin everywhere.
Um, I feel like that could get dangerous. But
You worried for her health?
no, it's a fun visual.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so so now she realizes there's all these fucking issues in my real life I'm not attending to, and it's fucking up my nightlife. So I have to start trying to fix this stuff. I have to start giving a little bit more attention to my day life. Now, at the same time that she's figuring this out, the government is able to figure out, like, hey, there's a human piloting this thing. And maybe this is where we'll get some exposition. Like, oh, maybe they captured an alien and they've
Yes.
interrogated it.
They already have had one.
That's Independence Day.
I love that movie.
Maybe when
They
okay, wait.
me okay.
Maybe after they drop the pod off and the spaceship's flying away, we just see a rocket take the spaceship down. And now we're revealing that they've captured a surviving alien.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
No, but we need to keep moving because it's 38 minutes in.
Okay. Um so now the government, while she's figuring out that these demons are like psychic projections, dream entities that are related to her daytime conflicts, the government is realizing, because they've been interrogating this alien, the whole lottery system that you described, and they don't want that. Like they like the, as the status quo. They don't want to have world peace and advance to something because it's going to destabilize their power. So like now um they're like gonna start compiling a list of possible people that it could be. So I assume they get that maybe this alien, like through interrogation, they're like, I don't know who it was. I wasn't in the room when they picked the candidate, but I do have a list of potential candidates, and they're able to do that. Like that's just saved in the fucking hard drive he has on his suit, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we have a montage of Dana, not a montage, but we have like a couple, like maybe 15 minutes of Dana starting to address these issues in her life. And this will be kind of um, threaded throughout the rest of the movie. Like she starts making time to go to parties again in the evening. She starts confronting her jealousy at Kara. She
And as
starts,
she's yeah, so as she's at this party, somebody puts on like the TV, or she goes into a room where they're all smoking weed and the TV's on, and she
yeah,
just sees like wars are still happening now.
yeah, and she runs
Like
home and
she's like, it's like war has broke out in the Middle East again. Where is Dana? Where is our savior?
yeah, yeah,
Or they they should make an, how the media always makes a name for something.
yeah. The
The
night
vi-
the night robot.
yeah. Where's the night robot?
Where's the night robot? um, that's a good name, a good title for the
Yeah,
movie. Where's the night robot?
yeah, yeah.
And maybe they say that because like maybe the media
Oh,
would
we
come
need a
up with
teacher if that's the name.
yeah. Um, so that brings her into conflict. Now, okay, wait. I want to back up just a little bit. So
Yeah.
while we've been showing her addressing all these issues, having this important conversation with her mother, we also show the government abducting all the people on the list. And then watching them sleep, realize putting an electroencephalogram on them, realizing they are not controlling the robot. Um, so she's been addressing all of these issues, and through that we're seeing less and less night demon activity, right?
Yes.
But now she sees this and she's like, "Fuck! I gotta get home and get to sleep," which is a very funny way to respond to the news. um, but
And one of her friends who's like sitting there stoned and drunk, he's like, "Ugh, she used to be so fun."
but this is the thing. She gets there, and it turns out it's all been staged, and this was the government has whittled it down to her, and they realize that she is the night robot pilot, and now they've staged this confrontation. So now we have a final like epic battle between Dana and the military, but Dana's mostly free of the demons at this point. Like we've been showing that she's been like addressing all these issues in their life. Um,
Yes.
so she fucking this is a big huge battle. It's a big huge epic battle, but she's making like short work of the military. Like this is an awesome fight. Like she is like doing some cool shit. She's vanquishing the government forces. But at the very critical point where she is going to go against their big weapon, a demon reappears and she loses the upper hand. At that same time, in New Jersey, the government enters her bedroom and riddles her body with bullets.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So she is now trapped in this robot. And the demon has reappeared. Um, Oh, maybe the demon didn't reappear. I
Hmm.
don't know because maybe she
I
really.
think okay.
Yeah, please.
No, I just think that after they shoot her up, the whoever the leader is like, very good men, let's go. And as they're leaving, he looks back at the body and he has the demon's eyes.
Well, the demons are just dreams.
Yeah.
They're not real demons. They're just her dreams that she would be having if she wasn't like. Oh! I got an idea. Okay, so as that's happening, so the demon attacks her at the
Wait,
critical
when does this
moment.
thing cancel out?
There is, um, yeah, just like we said, at the critical moment, the demon attacks. And she's like, fuck, I thought I solved all my problems. But no, like, so she's being attacked by this demon and she recognizes it. and she recognizes that it has some kind of resemblance to some other issue. Oh, it looks like Nancy. And she's been neglecting Nancy this whole time. She's just been using Nancy as a repository for all of her complaints and all of her processing. But she doesn't get high with Nancy. She doesn't talk about Nancy's problems anymore. Are you on your phone?
No, I was looking at the
Yeah.
notes.
And I'm so sorry. And this will show up as a dream demon later. And it just kind of demonstrates you never solve all your problems. You're never going to be completely free of this and able to purely focus on the mission at hand. So she's being attacked by this. She's like, "Oh fuck, I need to treat Nancy better." And at that exact same time, then the
Treating
government
Nancy. Yes.
at
I
that
like the name
time
treating Nancy.
at that exact time, the government forces are entering. They kick open the door in her bedroom. They knock her mother down, and they obliterate her body. They just destroy her body. They riddle it with bullets, trapping Dana in the robot, but at the same time, actually destroying her daytime life. So now she is unimpeded by the demons. The demon disappears. She comes into full power and destroys the military. Like destroys the military, like vaporizes them. And one huge, like it's like a beam of white light that comes from her eyes. And it's all dust.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but then she goes, "Oh no," and flies back to New Jersey and sees that her body is destroyed. And her
Yeah, but
mother
she's like,
is
why
standing
am I
there.
not waking up?
Yes, yes. Oh yeah, because the alarm goes off, but like on
Yeah.
her wrist, on the robot's wrist. She goes back, her body is destroyed, her mother's crying, and she realizes her life as Dana is over.
Mm-hmm.
Now she is just the robot,
Night robot.
the night robot. Now, she doesn't say a word. She just, cause she sees the mother crying through the window, but she knows this life's over, and she just flies away. And she flies over the earth. She flies to the White House, and she sits in the Oval Office. She knocks the president down and sits in the seat.
And she just has her head down the whole time sobbing.
But yes, she's crying at the seat of world power. She's sobbing. She's in control from now on, but her human life is gone.
Mm-hmm. The end.
The end. What do we think? Like, what do you think?
I mean, it's not our best work, but it kind
Well,
of works.
what other directions could we have taken? Like, how would you?
Time, baby.
What?
It takes time to explain.
No, we got a few minutes. I mean, like, does anything come to? This is the story. This is our working version of it. Does anything? I mean, I kind of like. It doesn't sound that good, but I think I kind of like that visual of like her life's over. She wanted power this whole time, and like now she has it, but she's had to sacrifice everything for it. She's had to lose.
And now she's like, well, yeah, and she's like, wait a minute, I hate this life.
It's about she has transcended. She's kind of become a god. But now that's a very lonely existence.
Yeah. And now the time is up and the robot has to return. And she gets taken back to the mothership.
Okay.
And now she's really fucked.
Why? She did what they wanted. She has
exactly.
been addressing.
And then this is a really terrible ending because she gets back up into the mothership and then it's just this like mindless, heartless process where they just like put her on a conveyor belt where it's like a grappling hook, it just grabs her, it's like, and she's going through all these things, and then like this sanitation thing, and then they just take her and they put her into a spot that's already marked for her, and then the glass closes, and now she's looking around and she just sees she's surrounded by other robots, and all these other robots are like, ah, because this happens all the time. No one ever succeeds.
But she succeeded.
Yeah, but she's stuck in the body of the robot.
But what's wrong with that? That they don't care. Why would the aliens care about that? The aliens
They
just
don't. That's
want
what I'm
her
saying.
to.
It's mindless. But for her, it's going to suck because now she has to live in this conscious.
Okay, wait, yes. So she's created world peace.
Mhm.
They,
At the expense of her own life.
yeah. So from that scene of her crying at in the Oval Office, we cut to just 5 years later, and we see a utopian world. Like there's like everyone is working together. Everyone, no one has to do things they don't want to do. Everyone like there's bounty everywhere. And then once she's overlooking that, then this horrifying scene happens, and this in
Yeah.
like dehumanizing thing happens, and that further like says like, hey, you can raise yourself above humanity, but you are
But
going to
you'll
be
always be a robot.
utterly, you'll be utterly fucking alone then,
Yeah.
and it will be hard. It'll be horrifying.
Because
But
there needs to be pain and suffering.
but no, or that's one way of looking at it. But also, no, it could just be about sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Like she, yeah, you can do that potentially, but you will
There's
have
a
to.
price.
There's a price, and
Every
she,
gift, there's a bleeding.
yeah, and for all of the suffering that she's removed from the earth, she has like made the earth into a beautiful place, like where it was kind of hellish and like just status quo. Now that's all her suffering. She's locked in this fucking robot pit for the rest of eternity.
Yeah. And we just like get this like panning back wide shot of like this endless room of robots.
But maybe we should, maybe there should be some kind of recognition of her sacrifice. Like maybe Nancy is back on Earth smoking a bowl, sitting on a rock. There's a bunch of people sitting around her, and she's just talking about her friend Dana who saved the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it turns out she's in a crazy house.
No.
Come on. They're like, yo, you're
No.
nuts. You going away?
No.
I also think that after we pan back on the wide shot of the robot room, we cut back to the person, like the thing controlling, like the supervisor of the robot room, and it's a demon. The demons were them the whole time.
I think these are a lot of interesting ideas, but for like we want to keep it tight. So I'm gonna say let's not do that.
Oh
Like
God,
that.
you don't want a twist ending?
No, listen. If we no, but the thing is, it's there's so much backtracking we'd have to do there.
Oh,
I think we got a tight little story here,
yeah.
and we can take alternate take. We could use this exact same outline and do alternate takes of it again in the future if you want.
Oh, I love this story so much. I want to talk about it every day, actually.
Well, fucking come up with a plot line yourself. I'm the one to. The plan wasn't. I'm just doing this all.
Well, I do have one for next time. How about that?
Do you want to tell it to me now, or do you want to text it to me? Tell it to me
Yeah.
now and then text it to me, so we can have it on the recording.
Yeah.
And
I just have to write it out, but I've been thinking about it. You know, it's about this. It's called The Super, and it's about the guy who becomes a super of the building, and his neighbors are freaking driving him nuts. And he plots to kill them, but the whole time, they, their whole, I guess I can say the whole thing. The whole time they've been plotting to kill him.
okay,
Because they have been in this building for a very long time and they don't like anyone coming in new.
I love it. Is that not the Val Kilmer movie where he's a super though? That came out a few years ago.